with me today is Mr. Ron Fontana. He is with Abraxas Digital Solutions. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yes. As Zachary said, my name is Ron Fontana. I first want to say to you guys, if I'm having a little bit of trouble looking at the screen or making eye contact, that is because I'm legally blind. I do walk with a white cane, so I'm just about this close to being totally blind. So that said, yes, I am a copywriter, and I have been profoundly interested in two things throughout my life, and those have been music and writing. And I knew as a kid that I was going to become one or the other. At the time, I didn't really see how it could be both because it seemed like full-time work either way. And I wound up choosing music, but in the long run, writing wound up choosing me. So I went to music school. Long story short, the music industry was collapsing at the time. I didn't want to stay in academia. I tried a whole bunch of other random things throughout the next couple of years and various things that were going on with the family where I needed to be close to them. And it happened that a friend of the family at one point in time had reached out and said, hey, I've got a buddy who has a roofing business and they need somebody to do some written content for his website. Have you ever done that? I said, no, but I can give it a shot. And I did it. And then a little bit later, my brother, who is also in digital marketing, had a look at it and he goes, dude, you should be making money off of this. He recommended me, without telling my name with who I was, to the director of freelancers at Sierra Interactive. Some of you might know that company. They are a global level digital marketing firm. Very, very, very good. They work with a lot of blue chip clients. So I had the opportunity to write a whole bunch of work for them that I can't tell you anything about because it's all under NDA. That's sort of the quick background. My brother wound up jumping into the hemp game when that was really picking up. We thought that was going to be hot for longer than it was. And we did make some good money. I made some good money writing for him while he was in that. And that was when I really discovered that I can actually make money writing. But obviously, COVID hit. I had a couple of small level hemp clients or hemp companies, little boutique shops, and they just got gobbled up by the big companies when everybody started realizing that they wanted to buy CBD and all that stuff.
Sure.
So then, long story short, found local marketing vault and wound up here somehow.
Cool. Yeah, and if you haven't noticed, I have a speech impediment and I'm doing a podcast. Ron is legally blind and he's a fantastic copywriter. So if you're not wanting to get into this because you think you're not very good at it, I'm not sure what your excuse is. So what about your agency name that makes it uniquely special to you?
So my agency, as you know, is called Abraxas Digital Solutions. I think it's funny how digital marketers like to throw around the word magic. Maybe because it sounds good next to marketing. Marketing magic. We work marketing magic. Let us work our magic for you. Well, I have always been very fascinated by ancient civilizations and the ancient world. Ancient music, ancient ritual, all that good stuff. So I know a very little bit, not much, but just a pinch about ancient Greek magic. And one thing I know about ancient Greek magic is that they had a word called abraxas or abrasax. And what it meant was the highest point in the mind of God, where everything, all opposites were converged as one. And what these guys would do, and gals, is they would say from the place of the abraxas, whatever it is that they wanted to will into existence. So basically, from the highest point in the mind of God, I call this into existence. And today, we still use that word, but we call it abracadabra instead of abraxas.
Interesting.
Yes. And the other reason is I'm a musician, and Santana has an album called Abraxas.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very cool. That is a lot more thought into the name of my agency and Launch Lab. I just thought the Atlas sounded pretty cool. So
I was going to ask if anybody ever gave you an answer like that.
No, it was just if we had a son, I thought that was going to be his name, and we ended up having a daughter, which is awesome. And so it was that was the name that we eventually picked.
Yeah,
So
that's cool. Well, just on that note too, another one of my very favorite artists, a guy Claudio Sanchez from the band Coheed and Cambria. He named
yep,
his son Alice. So
really cool,
yeah,
very cool.
yeah.
So a big thing about this podcast is that I'm trying to keep it short and sweet, so
Okay.
that there's a lot of people that go live and sort of ramble and have inside jokes and stuff, and so this is meant. So I don't mean to stop the conversation from flowing, but I know that there's some
Sure.
questions that I want to get through. So
We'll keep it
um,
nice and tight.
yeah, would you say that you're an introvert or an extrovert?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It depends on the context. But
Okay.
yes, a little of both.
Okay. All right. So tell us about your transition from the rat race to entrepreneurship.
I think I kind of did. The crazy thing is I never thought that I would leave music, like actually leave. It wasn't a plan. It was just that the music industry around '06 to '09 had kind of collapsed and nobody really knew what was going on with it. And I very briefly tried my hand at law school of all things because I wanted to see if I figured, all right, whatever happens to the industry, there will always be litigation. And I ran away screaming after the first year, even though I did all right, and it just kind of took a while. I tried a bunch of different things. I was trying to license some of my songs and things like that, but it was just trial and error until I eventually kind of came back to, well, what was that I started with? It's always been writing and music. So if I can make money at writing, let's do that.
Perfect. What do you play?
So I play electric guitar mostly, although I play a little bit of piano, and I am now actually a singer.
Very
So
cool.
yeah,
All
but
right.
my focus was music composition.
Awesome. Very cool. Um, why are you involved in digital marketing?
For a couple of reasons. The first is, let's be honest, if you do it right, there's very good money in it, and I would like to make very good money. The second, and it should actually be tied with the first, because I genuinely care about people, and I really do want to see businesses that I believe in succeed, and I would feel very good about myself if I were to be able to help them. And the third reason is, it's fun. It's challenging. You find ways to push yourself forward. You find ways to grow, and you're constantly able to develop, especially if you have a particular skill within digital marketing. You're constantly able to work on developing that skill, and but maybe in a context that you never really even thought you would.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, the space is full of people that are only doing it because of the money, and they may be good at it, but a lot of people that aren't in it for the people and actually trying to help.
Yeah,
When things get tough, a lot of them get kind of shady
yeah,
instead of
they just back out.
showing people
Yeah,
first. Yep.
yeah,
So
yeah. My whole attitude is, I'm not happy. I don't feel like I've done my job until you're making money. I don't want to walk away with your money and not do anything. I would feel gross if that were the
you feel
case.
gross.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like icky. It's like, look, these people gave me money for a reason, that I want to help them really make something happen. And
Yeah. Of
that's
course.
what it's all about. Yeah, and be there for them, like you said, during the tough times, because those are going to come too.
Yeah. One of the hardest things that we're finding is that there's so many businesses that have already been burnt uh, by marketing agencies that don't care about people
Mm,
or maybe misrepresent themselves. And so if we can even get them to talk to us, it's a fight to say, hey, this is why we're different. Um, but this is why, how we're going to put you first and make you succeed. And
right.
then once you get over that, then it actually goes the other way, and then
Yeah.
they end up trusting you a lot. So um, always good to hear somebody else that's trying to be on that side.
Yeah.
Um, what was your eureka moment when it came to digital marketing?
So my eureka moment, when I realized I should really be doing this for sure, was one of the very first things I did for Seer Interactive was to write a very nice, highly technical ebook for a blue chip company in the architecture, engineering, and construction space, who I am not allowed to mention but who, if you heard the name, if you're in any of those fields or any kind of creative or graphic design, you would know them. They're a big, big name. And so when I was able to make 1750, which is now, just the thing. But the first time I was able to make almost $2,000 just essentially writing a 30-page ebook, I realized this is where it's at.
There might be something into this, right?
There might actually be something to it. Yeah.
To somebody that may be watching this that that has problems with their eyesight but wants to get into this, do you have any tips and tricks as far as what's needed?
That's a good question. So it's going to depend, because everybody who has low vision has different. There are a lot of different facets to it. So for me, I'm very nearsighted, so I have to have my screen enlarged. Right now, I'm actually part of the reason that I'm not making eye contact as well, or maybe I am. I don't know, but
You're pretty close.
who knows?
Yeah.
But if I'm not, it's that because I'm actually looking at my laptop screen and I can only get it so large from here. But I would recommend, I mean, obviously use your accessible technology. If you're legally blind or blind, you already know what technology it is that works for you. So, rely on that, use that, and figure out, just like anybody else, honestly, it's not really much different advice. Just find what you like, find what you're good at, get amazing at it, and just go out there with it.
There you go. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good advice. Do you work with any particular niche or service mostly?
Well, like I said, I began with the hemp niche. Began kind of just as doing whatever the seer threw at me, and then I found myself writing a lot for the hemp industry, and I'm fairly knowledgeable with it. I'd still be fine, be quite happy writing for any other clients who would come along. But my actual dream, like I said, to tie it back to the beginning, is to merge the music and the writing. And so one of the best ways I can do that from the writing side, of course, is to be writing about music and audio. So I would love to, especially music technology, audio technology, because they're always looking for writers. There's always something new coming out. And if I could get to a point where, like, let's say I had an agency that was full of writers who are writing in all different niches, which is great, but I could do all the fun audio stuff, or at least a good chunk of it. That's sort of where I see this hopefully going.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. What are you most proud of in your journey to date?
That I didn't give up.
There you go.
Seriously, the losing the first incarnation of this business, Abraxas Content Solutions, was a little bit it's a little bit disheartening, because like that you're good. It's like you have to keep reminding yourself, okay, I did make money for these clients. It wasn't me. There was a lot of things were happening in the world, and it all hit. And nobody could have planned on COVID or what happened with the economy. It was just completely unexpected. But I then went back in. I figured, like, I was kind of burnt out a little bit from writing. So I thought, all right, look, I'm going to try the Google ads, Facebook ads kind of approach. And I did a little bit of that through the local marketing vault, which I know that you've mentioned on here before. That's why I haven't explained what that is. But yes, so I did a little bit of that, and I was all right, but not really nearly where I wanted to be. And I began the mentorship there with the amazing Ryan Labar. The guy's absolutely awesome, and he kind of helped reorient me and kind of got me thinking about, well, look, if you can write, use that. Like, you're already good at that. And it was like, yeah, okay. So it was the fact that there were like at least 2 or 3 times along the way where it was like, everything I'm trying is just not working. Right. And now it's like, but I'm still going.
Yep. Yeah. It's the idea of somebody being able to jump into something that they've never done before and be successful at it, either right away or 30, 60, 90 days, whatever it is. And it is absurd. If you've never done it before, you're gonna suck. It would be
yeah, I mean, like, there might be like those outliers who are just like amazing, and for whatever reason, they're just able to get out there and just like
Right.
destroy it. It happened. Somebody
Right.
has to be that person, but it's not most
Right.
of us.
Well, a lot of people come into this because they see the courses online that say, we can make you $1 million in 90 days, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so, they see that it's such a short time horizon, and then they don't get there, and they're like, well, why am I so bad at this? It's like, one, because you
Yeah.
haven't put the reps in, but two, if you don't stop, it is irrational to think that over a long enough time horizon you won't succeed.
Yes, that's right. That's
And
totally right. And that's actually something that I've thought about too. It's like if you're just constantly going with this, if you're constantly going to keep improving, like as long as you really want to, as long as you're really trying. Yeah, I had that feeling too. It was like I think it was just about 90 days in. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing other people like talking about hitting the 10K club or whatever. I'm like, here's me, like still trying to get like this, just get a couple calls for this one towing client, It's like,
yeah, yeah, and especially don't judge yourself off of what other people are doing, right? Because you have no idea what their background is. Are they good at sales? Do they not have a job and you work full time, so you can only do it a couple hours at night,
right.
a couple days a week, and they're hammering out all day, every day, right?
Yep.
Are they able to put the reps in? Do they have? So, if you see somebody that's like, yeah, I'm killing it, this month, make sure that you only judge yourself from you last month,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You're not that person. And even if you guys have extremely similar circumstances, you're still different people, and there will still be slight differences in how you work. And, like you said, it's almost like, yeah, you want to do it as quickly as you can because you want, you're looking to create that kind of abundance in your life. But at the
Right.
same time, it's like it does no good. It's just a complete waste of time to beat yourself up or be frustrated about anything. Like it's like, all right, am I going to move forward and keep doing this? Yes. Okay. Have I learned from what I just did? Yes. Okay. Good. No need to keep wallowing in self pity.
Right. Yeah. And, myself included, there's a lot of people that are like, okay, I watch these videos, but now I have to go watch these videos. And then after that, I have to watch these videos because I'm not ready yet. And then I have to read this book, and then I have to do this.
Mhm.
And you end up getting yourself in this cycle where you don't take any action. And then you wonder why you're not making any money, or you did all this research and then you reach out to like 3 people and they all said no. And it's like, oh, well, I'm never going to work at this. But you just have to keep trying and actually put yourself out there. And you don't have to ever, there's somebody said, like, you have to feel comfortable, getting told no. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have to be comfortable with it. You just have to, you just have to
You just have to deal
try
with
again
it.
tomorrow.
It's like it's not that bad. It's like I can't tell you how many times, especially early on, when I would call these guys and just trying different like pitches or trying to just talk really naturally and just like I mean, it's like your heart is like literally right in the back of your almost literally in the back of your throat. But
Yep.
like, the more you do it, the more you just realize, okay, it's really not that. It's not that bad. It's not that hard.
Yeah. And even people that have these big businesses and have been doing it for a while, and they have their own brand, right? That's what
Mhm.
not many of us have. I don't have a personal brand, right?
Yeah.
Which kind of sells it for you. But the reason that they're able to scale is because you know, they have all this money to put into ads and to do all the cold outreach and have these salespeople, and they're still
Yeah.
getting those all the time. But because they're doing so many people, they're doing so many more reach outs than you are. They're able to get the yeses to then move forward.
Right. You kind of wonder statistically if we were to take their sample size and bring it down to my sample size, would we how similar would they be, or vice versa, bring my sample size up to theirs, what would I be achieving? So
Right.
yeah, and again that gets back to that whole thing again. Like you can't compare yourself to others. You certainly can't compare yourself to a very well entrenched established agency with strong brand presence, like you said.
Yeah. So, got a little bit off topic, I think, but I think it's all relevant.
Mm.
Um, if you don't mind me asking, what was the lowest moment for you when you're getting things up and running?
Well, again, not to sound like a skipping CD, not to sound like a skipping CD. Sorry. It was. I had to get one in. It was when I lost the first business. It was
Okay.
when I realized I had to move back home with my parents at pretty much the age just about 40.
Okay.
You know, and it's like, okay, well, and I had nothing. It was like, what do I have to show for all these years?
Right.
That'll be the lowest point.
Right. Well, what you have to show is that you made all the mistakes, and now you have the knowledge to
Yes.
then go back at it. So
Yes.
just because you don't have anything physical doesn't mean that, unless you just keep repeating your mistakes, which is
Mhm.
it is what it is. But with every failure makes you just teaches you all these lessons. So you shouldn't be afraid to fail, right?
No, I think it lets you cultivate your intangible assets in a way, like your tangible personal assets. It's like if you fail, like it's like there's always two ways to take it. Like it's just it can either be a failure is on its face. It's like okay, it's a I wouldn't say inability, but you didn't achieve the thing you were after. It's a miss, right? So you can look at it like, okay, I fail all the time. I'm a failure. I suck. Why can't I ever make this work? And look, we've all been there. It's like we've all been there. It's just
Yeah,
if
of
you
course.
haven't, you're not human. So, but it's the recognition. The other way of looking at it is just that, and it's not just like a oh, let's be happy go lucky mindset and just treat it like every failure is really a win in disguise. No, it really is though, because
Yeah.
if you can actually internalize the lesson from it, you won't make the mistake again, and then you're better for it than you were coming in.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the idea of when you first go to the gym, what they call newbie gains, right? And
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep.
it's just because you gain so much muscle and strength right away, and
Yep.
it's because you how am I going to explain this? Uh,
Your muscle is being shocked for that first time, and it's
yeah,
realizing, oh my gosh, we got to do something. We're
right,
under serious stress.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
it, so basically there. Uh, what I'm trying to get at is if you apply that to like sales calls, if
Mhm.
if you just do 10 sales calls and you've never done them before, but they're all going to suck, right? I have a
Oh
speech
yeah.
impediment, right? I'm
Yeah.
it
Exactly
is
right.
not an easy thing
Yeah.
for me, but you learn. It's just the amount of stuff that you get from those first 10 or 20 or 100 calls is
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
exponential from where you started.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
the same thing applies to making a landing page or um, running cold email. You just being
People
able to go out and give yourself permission to fail. You just learn so much that first time around, where you're able to then the second, third, and fourth time uh, be able to plow through it.
yeah. I'm trying to remember which composer it was who was asked, like, "Where did you learn to write? How did you learn to write like that?" And he said, "I made it a point to get all of my failures out of the way." He said, "I failed early and often."
Right? Yeah.
Well, you know,
Well, one of the things that you see in social media is that is only the good stuff. You never see the people fail, so it makes you failing that much worse.
I was thinking at one point in this conversation when you were talking about like comparing yourself to other people, the thought that came to my mind was like, yeah, everybody looks good on Instagram.
Yeah,
It's like like that's what it's for. It's for like this curated image of what your life is, and then other people look at that and say, well, I want my life to be like that.
yeah,
It's like, well, so do they actually.
yeah, yeah. One of the guys that is huge about you know just going out and being terrible at it and just don't let what your parents think or your friends think or whatever get in the way of you actually getting the mistakes, and so you can do what you want.
Well, let the fact that you're operating from your office, your office is your bedroom at this stage in your game, throw you off too much either. Like
Yeah, of course. And it's if you've never heard of Gary V, he is he's probably the biggest guy of pushing, like, if you gotta go, move back in with your parents, you gotta go move into your childhood bedroom to make it so that you can go and uh, be a digital marketer, or whatever it is that you want to do. Don't be afraid to do that because of what your friends are going to think. Right.
that's a really, really good piece of advice. I didn't know about that. I had no idea that he said that. That's really cool.
Well, that's not a quote, but it's the.
Oh, it's just, oh yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? That not so much as a quote, but that's his, like his. I don't really know him as that well, so I didn't really know that was the philosophy. But I love that, and
Yeah.
because I'm still working my way out of that situation, and it does give you some comfort just knowing, like, hey, look, it could, again, like anything else, it could be to your advantage. Just like, obviously, like, I contribute quite a bit around here, but some of the primary stuff, like, you're going to be paying less for bills. You're going to be able to kind of, in some ways, a lot of ways, focus a lot more than maybe you could have if you had all these other competing things going on.
Right. And the idea is, don't let your pride get in the way of doing what you want, of doing what you dream of. And if the idea of entrepreneurship isn't for everybody, right? Some people are happy making $50,000 a year. They work 9 to 5. They have their weekends off. They can go do whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
And they're perfectly happy. And so but if what makes you happy is being your own boss, and people will quit their 9 to 5 to go do this entrepreneurship thing so that they don't have to work 40 hours, so that they end up working 100. and they don't have their weekends, and they don't have their nights, and they can't they can't watch football and go to the bar with their friends. Right, exactly. But if this is something that you actually want to pursue, don't let you living in a house that's too big and paying for a car that's too much. If this is what you want, and you need and you need the time to step down from your job that you're getting paid X amount for, so that you can be happy doing this, or even just taking the risks so that you can make the more money. There's going to be a lot of hurt pride if your circle of friends are all driving BMWs, living in $750,000 houses.
Sure.
And you have to move back to like a studio apartment and drive a Honda. But if that's what you got to do,
you're making the space still. You're making us, like, you're downsizing so that you can expand. It's like all these other things that look good right now, they're kind of like chains. It's like you're only making just enough to take care of the things that you've got. So yeah, if that's if that's the situation, you've got to, in the end, again, it sounds really cliched, but you've got to prioritize and follow your dream. If that's where your heart is really leading you, then you're not really going to be happy unless you're doing it.
Yeah. Cool. If you can go back and give your 18-year-old self a piece of advice, what would it be?
Well, now that I have a grandmaster plan, I would have told him, stay in music. Here's a bunch of songs that you're going to write in about 15 years. I want you to take these and release them now, because at the time they're released later, they're going to be kind of like, old hat. But if you release them now, you're going to make at least $1 million off them. So start there.
Cool.
Oh yeah, I'm not trying. I don't say it to brag. I actually am fairly self-critical, especially of my work. But it's taken a long time to get to the point where I can write like that. And I would tell them that, and basically make that money and use it to launch everything else. Look into, and don't forget, because about the digital marketing, because that's going to be a big thing. And you can build up an agency all around writing. You've already got the music connections. Now you'll have all these people to write for. You can get this thing running so that when and if the rock star thing disappears, goes away, look, you got this. you've got this foundation. And then I would tell them, and then we can retire to a nice life of a refined scholarship as we age. We'll sit there writing musicology articles about like really strange topics of medieval music or something. And we'll have to worry about anything because we'll have the money to take care of it. And and donate to some very good charities because people need it.
There you go. What's one thing about digital marketing that you didn't expect?
I think I said that earlier. Just that I like it.
Okay.
That I would. Maybe that was it. That I would like it. I just, for the longest time, I was turned off by like any kind of business writing. I felt like I would have to be fake. Like I would have to put on, like I had to say these corny, cliched things that I kept seeing on the internet that made me want to barf. And it was, like literally like turning Valley Girl, like gag me with a spoon kind of thing when I see some of this writing. But then I realized that that's just because there's, unfortunately, a lot of poor copywriting on the internet. Once you actually start seeing some really good stuff, you realize, man, these people are writing with personality. They've got pizzazz, they got style, they got an individual voice, and guess what? They're making money for their clients. So, once I realized that, it was like, okay, you can be you as a business writer. You can be you as a content or copywriter. And I think that was the big thing. That was the big surprise for me.
Very cool. What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now, and how are you tackling it?
Well, since I'm still at the very, very beginning of this new agency, it's getting clients. It's just the very, very first basic step is just getting more clients. I am tackling that through the kind of traditional channels that you might expect. Obviously, doing long game LinkedIn connection campaigns, things like that. Working especially on Upwork, and right now that's like I do have a website, but it's literally just it's more or less just a stub. It needs to be updated. The bulk of everything I'm doing at this stage is through Upwork, and
Okay.
just trying to hustle that game. Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool.
There are other things too, but that's like the kind of like the main channel at this point.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. What is one piece of advice that you would give someone starting out?
I would say find what you're good at, and if you feel like you don't know where to start, just go with whatever seems the most interesting to you. Geek out on that. Like absolutely throw yourself into it. Like be like unreasonably interested in it, and just develop the skills, just develop a particular skill and then use that, because what's happening, I think now in what I'm seeing in digital marketing anyway, is that more and more people are white labeling. So basically it's like you can have an agency, and even if you don't know anything about Facebook ads, you might have somebody, who's also got an agency and they're awesome at Facebook ads. So you white label them, meaning like they'll do the work under your company name and you guys split the profits. So those things work, and I think you guys are very familiar with that model. That's something that I know that you promote very much. And so that's something that I would say, if you get extremely good at one thing and then you get other people who are extremely good at their things, then what you wind up having is a collection of people who can absolutely dominate, on the marketing front.
Yeah.
So that's what I would suggest. Get really good at something and then find other people who are really good at what they do and work together.
Yeah. One thing I like to say about that is that you should have a general idea of what goes into Facebook ads and Google ads and stuff. And or what would be generally good copy, what a good landing page looks like, so that when you're looking for somebody who says that, excuse me, when you're looking for somebody to partner with that says that they're good, and then they show you their work, you can at least get through it and go, okay, this is good, this works, or it doesn't.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because I also don't want to make it like you do want to be a specialist, but not so much so that it's to the exclusion of everything else. You're part of an ecosystem, and you need to know what role it is that you're fulfilling within that ecosystem. And you should have at least a baseline professional knowledge of what the other aspects, like you said, areas of digital marketing are, and if for no other reason than just to be able to assess the people that you're bringing onto your team. Absolutely.
Yeah. Inside of Atlas Agency Launch Lab, there's 5 main people that all own, all own agencies themselves, and we each have our own strength to bring to it. So if we were like, oh, if I partner with somebody, then they're going to take half my money, right? But would you rather have 100% of this pie or 50% of this pie, or 30%, whatever it is, right? The idea of being able to split up the work means that you can get more customers, you can have a better quality product, you can save more time yourself because you're not doing everything, which means that you can double, triple, quadruple down on the stuff that you are good at, sales, sales prospecting, copywriting, doing the text side, whatever it is. And then so instead of making $100, you make $1,000, and then you split that $1,000 in 2 or 3 or 4, and you're still making more than just that $100.
Right. And like you said, I mean, again, another cliche, the whole idea of time is money, right? So if you are able to outsource things that take a lot of time, the other types of things, you can focus on your niche. And it might seem like, okay, well, I don't know, I would have gotten 1,000 for this client, but I'm splitting it with like 3 people, or 4 people maybe. So let's say we're each only getting 250. But here's the deal: that split also allows you to focus on bringing in more and more clients. So you're not just getting 250. You're going to build that up, and then they're bringing in clients. So you got to remember that too. They're also bringing in clients, and then they're sending them over to you. So it ultimately kind of like evens out in the end.
Yeah, it makes it, because if you spend the morning prospecting, and then you go and do some sales calls, and then you're able to close one, and then you got to go and sit down, and then you got to go and do all the workflows and all the tech stuff and stuff. So if you can do one a day, if you're lucky, or you can sit down and have 20 or 30 sales calls, whatever it is, and then you maybe you can get 2 or 3 a day, or 5, or whatever it is. And then you can go to bed at a reasonable hour. So
that's always nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Where do you see yourself in about 5 years?
I see myself. I don't want to say. I don't want to really say the cliched thing, because it's like, the thing that they promise you, like, well, just imagine yourself sitting on a beach, sipping a drink with, like, the woman of your dreams and all these things. But actually, that is kind of what I'm after. I really want to be able to get out. I want to travel. I'd like to see the world. I'd like to go to places where amazing things in music history have happened, and also just amazing things in general. I would love to be able to go out and visit my cousins in Italy who I've never met, who don't speak English. It would be really wild to kind of meet that side of the family. I just want to be able to, I see myself having that kind of freedom. And the reason I see it is because I see myself having a team of writers underneath me who are working, who are each very good at a specific aspect of writing. We've really got our whole approach down. We've got our from the raison d'être all the way down to the particulars of the execution. And I would have a single point person that I can check in with, and they're basically running everything. I decide whether or not and how much writing I want to do. And especially if it's like about anything with audio or music. Obviously, I'm going to want to do that. But just being able to have that kind of level of flexibility. And I don't think it's unrealistic to be able to have that in 5 years if I bust my butt, and make it happen.
Of course. Most of these courses say, like, oh, you can go and work from anywhere, and like you can go and sit on the beach all day and stuff. And it is possible, but only if you have systems and people in place.
Yeah.
Only if you don't make a job for yourself.
Yep. It's not going to happen by just following some basic little. I mean, yeah, it can happen by following a formula if it's a good formula, but you have to, don't listen to anybody who tells you that you can do this without putting in work. You're going to work, and you're going to work hard. before you can relax. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I really like about our success with the Atlas HT Launch Lab is that you know, a lot of the other courses teach you how to do the button pushing stuff and, and this and that. And I'm really proud of the amount of content that we have teaching people to actually go and have a CEO mentality, right? And you know, have people to put in place so that they can or they can make the money they want while also not being a slave to their computer all day. And that comes with, you know, it's also not easy, but go and pick your hard,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's yeah, no, and that's something that I really like about you guys too, what you're doing. It's like there are a lot of people who know what they're doing and they've got great programs out there, but it's also it's you don't really find anything where it's like the people are actually walking you through very specific situations that could pop up and do pop up in the course of the process of building an agency. And yeah, I like that. I like the way that you guys are able to help people to kind of push to the next level with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Cool. So, excuse me. I generally like to keep this around 40 minutes.
Mhm.
That's where we're at about 42 right now.
Okay.
So let me ask you where can people find you?
So right now, even though I do have a website and you're welcome to check it from time to time, it is abraxasdigitalsolutions.com. Right now, it is just a stub. It's basically you're going to see like a stand-in lead gen page that I just fired out to have something sitting there. In the course of the next month, before the year is out, I'm going to have it redone and made into a very nice professional writing web page where you'll be able to reach out to me there. But in the meantime, find me on Upwork. I'm really looking to build my presence there. I feel like if I can start there and I can get a good number of people there, then I can move over to Guru and just I want to have these essentially these sort of like almost like as engines that produce requests. Like once you get a certain reputation, people just start coming to you.
Right.
And I'd like to get it to that point. So that's really the main thing right now. You can just
Very
find
cool.
me under Ron Fontana. I spell Ron with two N's, so Ronn. And yeah, uh, and that's pretty much it for now. But there will be more later.
Very cool. And I will help put all that in the comment section if you're watching this live. So awesome. But thanks for coming on, Ron.
Thanks for having me, Zach.
Yeah, of course. Once again, my name is Zach. I'm with Atlas Online Solutions and Atlas HT Launch Lab. This is it's one of your bi-weekly podcasts. Thanks for sticking around this long. If you have, I know it's not easy to listen to somebody with a speech impediment, but hopefully we got some good nuggets out there. And hopefully, if you are where I am or where I used to be, or the same for Ron, maybe we gave you something that you can use to better your business.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay. See ya.